Very existence, everyone. Welcome to the BS Podcast. Today, I have a lot to talk about. First thing, I graduated college, and second, I moved to Thailand. Then, I'll be talking about my BL, anime, manga, manhwa, and visual novel recommendations. So, strap in because we're about to talk about some bullshit. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm sorry. It's been so long. But a lot has happened in the past like year and a half. Many, many things, and I'm going to share some of those things with you today. One of the first things is I finally graduated. After so many years of going to school for like all of my life, at the age of what, 26? At the age of 26, I finally graduated and I'm done with going to school. But now I'm working at a school. So I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher now. But let's rewind a little bit. So I finally graduated after, I don't know, like 6 years of trying to get a music degree and then changing my major to interdisciplinary studies. It was a lot. I didn't graduate in the spring like most people do. I graduated in winter in like December, and it was a lot. Okay, let me just tell you, so much stuff happened in 6 months that I could not do anything else. First off, like in the summer before my last semester, my mom passed away. And then I had to take care of that. Luckily, I had like my brothers to help me, deal with like the legality of everything. But, that was like really, really emotional to deal with. And we had to deal with the house. We had to deal with her car. I was the one who mostly had to clean up the house and try and get rid of everything because one of my brothers didn't even live anywhere near us. And then the other brother has like a family and a full time job. So it was kind of hard for them to do much physically at the house. But eventually we got most of the stuff done near the end of July, July 24th. My mom is in the hospital again because she's not feeling well. I go to pick her up in the morning and she's like, I'm kind of feeling a little weird. And I was like, that's not normal, mom. You just got out of the emergency room. And so she's like, I think I have to go back inside. And I was like, yes, you do that. And then she was like, no, I'm not going to do that because it's going to take so long. And I was like, mom, that's not okay. Go inside. And so we go to the car because she absolutely just refused to go and like deal with that. So we get in the car and then she starts to not breathe. And then her heart starts to attack her. And so I drive up to the front, I go get the staff, and they get her out of the car. They take her in, and for about, I don't know, 45 minutes, she's like in and out of her heart, beating and then not beating. So then she passed away, sadly. It was like a few weeks before school started, my last semester of university. While we were dealing with that, I had to go back to school because I was almost done. Almost done. If I didn't do this, my mom would come back from the grave and haunt me. She would torture me in death. I know it. I know it. I know she would because that's who my mom was. So finally going through like the last semester, it was just so much work and having to deal with a lot of stuff. And then finally Thanksgiving rolls around. It's like the first major holiday without my mom, and I went to my grandparents, and my grandma is also not doing too good. Everything was fine on Thanksgiving, but like the day after Thanksgiving, my grandma had to go to the hospital because she was not doing too good. She wasn't really able to walk. She wasn't, she didn't have the energy to do anything. And, of course, after her, daughter's death several months prior, she was not doing too well emotionally either. That was the last time I saw her. And then, of course, I had to go back to college to finish my finals in like the last 2 weeks. As I was preparing for my finals, I get a call from my grandpa saying that my grandma had passed away, sadly. I was already emotionally drained from my mom passing away and my final semester at college that I just could not process that. I absolutely could not process anything. And I was like, okay, my brain, you need to figure this out. You need to figure this out right now because we can't handle this. So just put it put it away for now. Put it away so you can handle the stuff that you're supposed to right this second. And so I was able to finish my finals and I passed, I graduated. And obviously, living in the dorms, I had to get out of there before anything. So I got all my stuff like the week before and took some of it to my grandpa's house, and I stayed there for like one day and then I was like, okay, I'm almost done. I will be back. So I go back, finish my stuff, pack the rest of the stuff from my dorm, and just go back to my grandpa's house. Now, I am the first one of the whole family to come for Christmas that year. I'm there, my grandpa's just not doing too good. My uncle's trying to also manage the house. We just were doing the best we could. And, it did help that I was there, made him feel less lonely. And that was the time I was going through like the mourning process and my brain was just trying to compartmentalize everything. And it was just a very weird thing. It was just very weird in general. I just didn't know what to do. And every day just felt like a day. Which I mean, normally for me, every day just feels like a day. But at the time, it was just different. And it was hard to do a lot of anything almost. Fast forward another week, and it's around Christmas time. So, in our family, around Christmas time, everyone comes to Southern California, to my grandparents' house, and we just have family time. We open presents, we have a big meal, and we just hang out with each other. We watch Christmas movies. And of course, fighting usually happens, but obviously this year, because of how things had turned out, there was no fighting this year. And honestly, it was probably one of the better Christmases in general. But it was really, really weird without my grandma and my mom being there. Because my mom, obviously, is the one who keeps everybody in line. And my grandma is like the whole reason we're there because my grandma loved the whole family thing. She came from the South, and so did my grandpa. And they had those Southern family values where family is important. Even if you hate your family, you still have to play nice. Yeah, it was kind of a very solemn Christmas for all of us because losing two of like the major family members was just so dramatic and exhausting that the Christmas we were like, this is going to be the last Christmas together because the two people that made this happen are now gone. And then after the whole Christmas thing, we all said our goodbyes. I stayed for a little bit, but once it was New Year's, I had to drive up to the San Francisco Bay Area where my father lives. because this is the part where I have to say goodbye to everyone, including, my dad and all my friends, because I was going to move away, out of the country, far, far away. Then I put all the stuff that I needed, all the stuff that I was taking with me, I put it in my car and I drove up. 8 hours of a drive. 8 hours. Obviously, I could do it, but it was just so mentally draining. But it also it gave me time to reflect and just think, just deal with stuff. 8 hours is a long time to drive. So I spent those hours just contemplating and thinking and working through some of my problems because a lot has happened and a lot will be happening in the near future. So I had to mentally prepare myself for everything. And then once I got to my dad's place, I spent some time with my dad and some of my other family members. And I spent some time with my friends, said goodbye to them, and just prepared all of the things I needed to prepare before moving. My dad was definitely not too happy about it. He was like, "Why, I don't want you to go. Why are you leaving? Why can't you just get a job here?" And I was like, "Dad, Dad, stop. All the plans are already made. There is nothing you can say that will prevent me from doing what I want to do. Because that's just how it is. That is how the world works. And we move on." Yeah, he wasn't too fond of it, but I mean, he had to deal with it because this is my life and I want to do what makes me happy. There was a lot of things I had to prepare for. I had to prepare documentation, making sure my ticket was good, my plane ticket, my baggage was taken care of. I didn't need a visa to come to Thailand, so that was good. Let me just tell you, moving there was a little bit like risky and stuff like that, but I did it. I did it. But figuring out what I could bring with me, what I needed to bring with me, was a whole nother story. Everything I've ever had in my life, I had to compartmentalize into like 2 bags. Anything that I didn't take with me, like my books and stuff, I just boxed them up and was like, "Okay, Dad, when I give you my address, if you could send these to me, I would greatly appreciate it. I do not know the process because I've never had to ship anything internationally, so I'm pretty sure you can figure that out, I hope." My friends were sad, but the thing about my friends is they're very happy for me that I was able to do what I wanted to do, go where I wanted to go. They were just very happy for me. And, I still talk to them. So it's not really much of a problem. It's not like I just dropped off of the face of the planet. I just moved somewhere very, very far away from them. A lot had happened in 2022, and a lot happened in 2023, which is a great segue for the next part. And welcome back. Okay, part two. So, this part is about me moving to Thailand and finding a job. So, some background stuff is I decided a while ago, like years ago, that I was not going to stay and teach in the US because of all the political stuff going on and how teachers are being treated in the US. I'm not saying that everywhere else is a lot better as a teacher. I'm just saying I wanted to get away from the whole US like capitalistic society thing, and I decided to go somewhere in Asia. I was like, Japan is not really much of a place for the gays. It has a place for the gays, but the working environment there is not the best, especially for an American like me, where I know how to say the word no. And a lot of Asian people tend to not like the word no, especially when your boss asks you something. So I was like, the work environment in Japan, not too fond of. And then I was thinking maybe Taiwan because they have, gay marriage and gay rights there. But the problem is, mainland China wants to take back Taiwan. And I did not want to get involved in like a war. Because that, I don't want to put myself in a position like that. It's like me just moving to the Middle East, where I'm literally an illegal person because I'm a gay. For the past like 5, 6 years, I've been watching Thai BL dramas, and I was like, no other country has, gay media like this. So I looked more into it, and Thailand had some pretty okay views. I mean, their politics aren't the best, but they're still not the worst. And I found out as a foreigner, I get a lot of privilege, I guess. I get a lot of nice things. I get paid more. I get treated like I'm smart, which I mean, I am smart, but it's nice to feel smart. In January of 2023, I got on a plane, said goodbye to the US, and flew 25 hours. I'm not saying I was on a plane for 25 hours, but I was traveling for 25 hours. So I left on the 10th of January from San Francisco International Airport, flew up to Seattle, Washington. And then I had like a small little, like 1.5 hour layover, which wasn't too bad. It was nighttime by this point. It was already like, I think it was like 9 p.m. It was already 9 p.m. It was nighttime. We got on the longest, the longest plane ride I have ever had the unfortunate existence to go on. This plane ride went from Seattle to Incheon Airport in South Korea. The hours of pain and suffering that I had to go through for that 12-hour flight is just something I hope to never have to do again. I brought my sleeping pills, but I decided against it because I'm like, maybe I could just fall asleep on my own. As if I could ever do that before. I don't know what came over me. I just decided that I don't need sleeping pills to go to sleep on this 12-hour flight. I was gravely mistaken. Gravely mistaken. I should have taken those. So not only was I unable to fall asleep for the entire 12-hour flight, but I was in pain for 6 of those hours. It was the middle of the night, and we went across the international date line, and I skipped ahead a whole day. So we left at 9 p.m. on the 10th of January, and I landed in South Korea on the 12th at 4 a.m. That time jump was really weird to comprehend, but 12 hours. It was a 12-hour plane ride, and it was so brutal. And then I get into the wonderful, beautiful Incheon Airport, and this place had it looked like a mall, okay? With all of the stuff they had, it was practically a mall. They had sleeping pods, well, not sleeping pods. They had sleeping rooms, which were a bunch of these little cots in like a darkish room. And of course, I go in there at 4 a.m. trying to find a place to try and get comfortable and sleep because I have a 11-hour layover in South Korea, which was, would have been great if I had like the time and the money to just like visit South Korea, but then I'd have to get like a special visa, and I just want to have to deal with that at all. I stayed in the airport for those 11 something hours, and I couldn't find a little place to sleep. I didn't feel like I was dirty enough to take a shower, so I decided to just go get something to eat, maybe, go to my gate, and just lay down. I tried to take a little nap, obviously, did not work very well. And I just, looked at stuff, looked at people. Yes, I did some people watching. It was pretty nice, actually. It was an experience. I'm not saying I absolutely hated the whole experience, but it was nice. I wish I could have stayed a little longer in South Korea, maybe like at least a full day or 2 days, and experienced the culture a little bit more. But eh, I think I experienced enough for the moment. So after my 11-hour wait, I got on my plane from South Korea to Thailand. And this plane, let me tell you, this plane looked like it was from the 90s. It was it was like one of the most unsettling planes I think I've ever been on. I feel like I accidentally walked into like a time portal back to the 90s of when airplanes looked like this, and I feel like the interior used to be white at some point, but now it was kind of a beige brown color, and I felt really dirty being in there. Anyway, moving past the cleanliness of an airplane from the 90s, the plane left around 4:30 p.m. on the 12th. It wasn't too bad of a plane ride, but I was dead tired. Just my back hurt. The plane ride wasn't too bad. The food was really good though. I had the food and I was like, this isn't too bad for airline food. So I ate it, and then we landed 6 hours later in the south of Thailand. I didn't I didn't decide to fly through Bangkok because that would just leave extra hours onto my travel time, and I just wanted to get there as quick as possible. So we flew to the south of Thailand to one of the major airports. My friend, who is a Thai guy, picked me up and we went to the hotel. And then we went to a market and we ate food. We went to a bar that had some, I don't know, some dudes that looked like they were in high school, but then again they were probably at least 20 because you have to be 20 years old to go to a bar in Thailand. And that was wild. I was dead tired. Honestly, my brain was not mentally there, but I was still enjoying it cuz this was my first time outside of the US. This is my first time being in Asia, and it was just so much of a wonderful experience that I was just flying. I was flying in my mind. I was so excited, and I was able to stay awake. And then we finally went back to the hotel, and I passed out. I passed out, went to sleep, and it was great. The next part I should talk about is my friend. His name is M. And I'm going to tell you guys now that Thai people have the funniest nicknames. They don't use their real names, only for official documents, but they all go by nicknames. And some of these nicknames are normal, some of them sound like Thai, but most of these nicknames are English words. And I'm not talking about English names, no, I'm talking about English words. So some of the names for my students are really, really hilarious. One of my students' names is Google. Another student's name is Orca. Another student's name is Magic. One of my other students, his name is Pure, and he is so bad. And then I have a girl named Bright. And that's one of the more like common Thai nicknames, Bright. But I think it's usually for like boys. But this girl has it, and honestly, I don't think she's that bright. He is my best friend here. He is like one of my main bitches, okay? He is the reason I am still here to this day. I've been here for exactly a year, okay? Finally, it's been a year that I have been in Thailand, and it is wild to think about that. I'll give you a little backstory about M. So I was like, oh God, I'm moving to Thailand soon, and I need to practice my Thai because I know where I'm going generally. Most people might not speak English, and I need to prepare myself for that. So I get on this app called Hello Talk, and this app connects you to people who speak that language and want to learn your language that you already speak, so you guys can help each other text and speak the language. And this app is amazing. I would suggest trying it out if you are learning any language. I was talking to a few people, but M was the one who kept talking to me like weeks, months, and we were just talking for, I don't know, maybe 8 months before I had moved to Thailand. And I talked to him. I was like, "Hey, I'm moving to Thailand, but I don't know where to go. I don't know how to get a job there." And he's like, "You know what? You can move in with me and I will help you find a place to live and I will help you find a job." So I was like, "Hmm, I've known you for almost a decent amount of time now. I trust you. I mean, we talk on the phone, we video chat. Like, there's no reason why I shouldn't trust you. You know, he's a pretty cool guy." And so I was like, okay. Once I'm here, I'm living with him and his family in the middle of a forest, by the way, in the middle of a forest, rubber tree farm forest, okay? Going into town is like a 15-minute drive. And he drives like a maniac, so normally it'd probably be 20 minutes to get into town. But like I lived on this farm for 4 months. Yeah, for 4 months. And within 2 weeks, he had helped me get a job. I teach at a private school. I teach English and I teach music. For English, I teach third grade and fourth grade. And for music, I teach fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. And honestly, teaching here is easier, but also more annoying than I could have ever fathomed in my entire life. Because a lot of these kids just don't care, and I understand that. But the way they act is insane. I've had students grope my butt, and I'm like, that is not appropriate. And then they just laugh. And they just like grab my fat because I'm a little chunkier, but like it's just not nice. I'm not like fat, I'm chubby, okay? And speaking of that, I have lost a considerable amount of weight. So when I came here, I was 274 pounds, and for the metric system users, that is about 132 kilograms, 132 kilograms or something like that, or 135. I can't remember. Around there, 130 kilograms, give or take a kilogram or two. And it's been a year, and I am currently what, 199 pounds, or no, 195 almost? No, absolutely not. I wish. I wish. Okay, I just am under 200 pounds. And for metric system, the last time I weighed myself a few weeks ago, it was 89 kilograms. 89 kilograms. Do you know how much weight that is? It is very noticeable I have lost that much weight, okay? I've lost over 70 pounds. 70 pounds from just walking to work, which, just letting you know, everybody rides a motorcycle here. Most people have a motorcycle. I'm walking to work, and every morning there's like these children in like middle school like riding these motorcycles with like four of their friends on it, and I'm just like, this is so illegal. Why is this so illegal? Why is this still happening? It's so bad. But I kind of like it here. It's nice. The people are really nice. At least the ones that I don't work with. Normally, people here are nice, and they are absolutely shocked when I can speak Thai to them. Yes, I can actually speak Thai, okay? After being here in this like remote area of Thailand, it's pretty rural of an area, so not everyone speaks English, and if they do speak English, they know how to say, "Hello, what is your name?" and stuff like that. They don't really know much English other than those like two or three things. So obviously, I have to come in and start speaking Thai because it's easier for me to learn a language than trying to communicate with someone who can't learn language, because it's usually like older people I have to communicate with, people who own stores, and just people in general don't speak English. And sometimes when I do meet a person who speaks English, it's really nice, but it's not a requirement. And it's stupid of you to assume that other people should know English or your language when you are the person in their country. So I was like, I need to be better. I need to do better because it's easier for me to change than to force everyone else to change. So, yes, I do know conversational Thai at this point. I've been here for a year, and I'm looking forward to how much I will hopefully learn in the next upcoming year or 5 years. I don't know, because the future is never certain. So I can't tell you how long I'm going to stay here, because something could happen and I have to move back to the US or something, like health concerns or something. And if I don't just die out of nowhere, then who knows? Anyway, so the language is absolutely ridiculous because it's a tonal language, which means that depending on the tone of the word, it changes the meaning. So, for an example, mai with falling tone means no, but mai with a rising tone means right. Like you add that at like the end of a question that you want, I think, a yes or no answer to. Ao mai means do you want this? But like mai ao means I don't want that. So ao mai ao. So it's like an exercise, okay? It's like a singing exercise that you have no idea what to sing. So it's pretty wild. So the language is really hard. Also, the alphabet that they use has an insane amount of characters, but luckily, most of them are obsolete and you only see them with people's names. And the thing about the letters, the consonants at least, is they have an initial sound and a final sound, meaning that if a letter is at the beginning, it makes one sound, but if it's at the end, it makes a different sound. So the letter, what is it? Which letter should I do? Okay, so the letter that makes the L sound, loling. So L, the L sound, if it's at the beginning, it makes but if it's at the end, it makes an N sound, like which is wild. And luckily, they're not too bad because most of them just make a K sound. So most of the letters, if they're at the end, they make a K sound, and all of the different like L, M, N letters, those usually don't change much. For culture, the culture obviously is very different. They eat rice for every meal. I think that applies to pretty much all of Asia. And I get like, I'll have like a meal or something, like a Western meal, and they're like, "Where's the rice?" And I was like, it's not normal for people to eat rice every single day for every meal outside of Asia." And they're like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, really." Actually, if I eat rice every single day, I get constipated. So I can't actually eat rice every day, which really sucks. But that's life. And obviously, they have the whole taking off your shoes thing before coming into the house. But because me and my roommate are not from Thailand or an Asian country, we bring our shoes into the house, but we take them off inside, not outside the door. Because if we leave our shoes outside the door, all the spiders and ants and bugs will get into it and make them gross and dirty, and I will not put my foot where an entire family of spiders is living. So we have these mats in front of the door, and when we walk in, we take our shoes off and put them on the mats. Problem solved. Clean shoes, everything's happy and great. That's pretty much all I can fit in for this because I don't want this to be like a 2 hour long podcast. Um, I think I will most likely have a second part to this if you guys want. So, time for recommendations. Okay, time for recommendations. So, this is the end of the podcast where I talk about my gay ass recommendations for media because I consume gay media at an alarming rate. So, how about we start off with manga slash manhwa? And today's is actually, I'm not quite sure how to make it. I think it's considered a manhwa, but it's originally in Spanish, and it's like some type of Midwest cowboy thing called Vivo o Muerto, and in English that's Dead or Alive, and it's about this dude who has like stolen a lot of money, and he's been hiding on a farm for a while and no one can find him. So this, dude who is a bounty hunter goes to find him, and he's like his very last person to turn in before he retires because he's getting up there in age. And you know the guy is like, it's not me, I swear it's not me. So we don't know if he's like telling the truth or not, and it's kind of confusing a little bit. And of course they have sex within the first few chapters, and it's like anger sex, and I was completely for it when I first read it. I was like, yeah, fucking get pissed off and fuck each other. It's great, I love that. So if you're into like something a little different outside of like the normal genre of like manga manhwa, I think this one will definitely be for you. So I would suggest giving it a little bit of a read. It's not finished, it is still being made, but there's a pretty decent amount of chapters out right now, and they're currently in English, and obviously I will give the description below. Now for BL shows, Pun Tong Ham, which means only friends in Thai. So, yes, of course, it's a Thai BL drama because we love some drama in this household. So, this one is about like a group of friends, and most of them are just complete and utter sluts, okay? So, if you love like some sluttiness and messy friendship, relationship shit, this is the one for you, okay? Within like the first episode, people are having sex, okay? If you're really okay with the whole sex thing and the drama, I would watch it. If you're not so much into that, I would maybe pass this one. And the next suggestion we have is an anime, which the people watching this might already know this one because it's been out for a while. Sasaki to Miyano. And this is a very cute, like, slice of life type BL anime. And it's, one of those fluffy, adorable ones. And it's about two high school boys, as most yaoi is nowadays. And, it's just something cute, and I would suggest giving it a nice watch. And for our visual novel, is socially awkward. I don't remember ever suggesting this one, but I feel like I have, but I don't have it in my notes. So I'm going to suggest it anyway. And if I've already suggested this one, then oh well, go do it. Go read it, okay? Download and read it. So socially awkward is about yes, disclaimer, this is a furry visual novel. Don't come at me, okay? Don't come at me. The furry visual novels are the best type of visual novels and they have the best art, so don't come at me, okay? Do not come for me. Well, unless you want to. Anyway, socially awkward is about this cat who is like mixed race, and there's like a lot of undertones of racism and, homophobia and just anxiety, okay? So if you have like social anxiety and you overthink a lot, this you will connect with this one, okay? And the updates, it's been out for a few years now, so it's pretty deep into the development, and it has four dateable characters, and honestly they're all really attractive, and there's some sexy scenes already, and there's some like weird paranormal stuff going on. I think that's really funny sometimes, so I think I would suggest you go play this one because it's pretty all right. It's pretty funny, lighthearted, also kind of very deep and dark sometimes. So it gives you a bit of like everything because the main character is completely just fucked mentally, okay? They have anxiety and just an insane mind, and whoever writes this is like amazing and I love them. Those are all my recommendations for this video, or sorry, for this podcast. And you can find the links to these in the description below. Thank you all for hanging around with me today. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by liking or commenting below. And if you'd like to know about future episodes, subscribe and do all that YouTube stuff. See you next time for some more bullshit on the BS Podcast.